What's going on, guys? Welcome into the first episode of Making the Difference, the start of something different. This is a podcast that I've been wanting to put together for a pretty long time now. I attempted it all last year. I say all last year, but I attempted it last year, and I could never find the format that I wanted, and I could never implement the things that I wanted to implement. And to be honest, I just never put it into priority. So those are some of the things that I'm going to be talking about in this podcast, the very first podcast I will be releasing. Some important information that I want to go over is who I am. Now, I could tell you my name is Ryan Escochea. I'm 27. I enjoy videography and photography. I enjoy editing. I like talking a lot. Obviously, I'm starting a podcast for a reason. I enjoy spirituality and, fitness. I just got my certified personal training certificate, working on my nutrition coach certificate. These are all things that are me, but not me. They're not who I am. They're what things that I like to do, or the age that I am, or the age that I think I am, the name that I have been given. These are all things that are not maybe necessarily me. And that is one thing I've been trying to figure out, especially over the past couple years, is just who really I am. You know what I mean? I'm still learning. I'm still trying to understand the whole picture. And one thing I had read in my nutrition coach thing actually today was you have outcome goals, performance goals, and then process goals, right? And I started to think about this in the form of macroism versus microism. Your process goals are your micro wins, right? They're those small goals that you set that help you achieve your performance goals, the macros, your big picture items. If you're so focused on all the big picture items, you won't be able to achieve those without those small picture items. And the same concept, when you're focused on your small picture items, you don't have to focus as much on your big picture because you're just manifesting your big picture items, your big picture goals. And all you're doing is focusing on the small ones. So I'm focusing on my minor W's right now, my first podcast that I'm releasing right now. And we're going to work through this. So if you are not following me already, I'm just going to, mention this out there. I have my Instagram at The Difference. TikTok, I'm starting to post more TikToks at The Difference. And those are my two main socials. Go ahead and follow me right now if you're not and my YouTube, that's where you're going to see this podcast, the video version of this podcast. But also, I post a lot of videos on YouTube, anywhere from just creating a lifestyle, informational videos on editing and, setting goals. And I've got a lot of content coming for the personal training business that I'm starting as well. So if you're not following, subscribe, do all that stuff right now. Don't forget to drop a like on YouTube if you're not already clicking the like button. And I'm going to dive into my goals for this podcast. Like I said, last year I was attempting this podcast for a good portion of my time, and it never seemed to fit. I didn't set any goals for it. So my goals for this podcast, one is to provide personal development strategies and motivation. I have been focused on myself for the past, I would say, solid year or so. And I've been developing a lot of personal development strategies. I've been providing motivation to myself and to my peers. And this is just another form, it's another form of information that I can give out. I want to give you all these personal development strategies that I've been learning, and then it also helps me express these personal development strategies back into myself. When I hear myself talk about it, I also have to rethink about what I'm saying. And is this truly aligning with how I believe, or what I believe, and how I act? So I do want to provide all this motivation for you. One of my main goals is I want to have interviews on this podcast. I'm not sure on how much. I think I want to have one interview a month. I'm wanting to record and release at least one podcast minimum per week. So these podcasts might be short. They might be, that quick 15-minute motivation that you need. They might be an hour-long interview. I'm going to be adopting similar formats to Andy Frisella. That's one of my main people that I listen to. Real AF. If you're not listening to that, I think if you're going to like my podcast, you'll probably like his. I don't know. Check it out. Let me know what you think. But yes, interview people, discuss my views. I want to interview people, see what they think. Not every view is, not all the views of all. My views are not the only views of the world, and they're not all right. Learning to understand that other people have different views that can be influential and first you have to accept that other people have views, but these views can be influential and change how you think. You do have to listen though. So that is one of the big things that I want to do, is I want to get people on here to interview and discuss ideas and viewpoints. Like I said, I'm going to be doing this once a week, releasing one video or one podcast. I'm going to be releasing one podcast a week, and one of these podcasts a week are going to be with an interview. I could be having same people on as recurring guests, but that is my plan. So this first podcast, I've said a lot already. This is a quick podcast as my first podcast, but one of my favorite things that I've said, and to be honest, it's been repeated back to me as one of other people's favorite things that they said, it's been repeated back to me as one of people's favorite things that I've said in my videos, as far as my YouTube video goes, is you put a foot in any direction instead of being stagnant. Once you start walking, you're walking forever. As a little kid, you put your foot in front of each other, and now you've already learned to walk. And guess what? You don't stop walking until you die, or until you can't anymore, right? Till you're done. You don't ever just stop. So putting a foot in a direction, any direction, is better than staying stagnant. So that is the main purpose of this podcast, this first podcast. It's the start of something different. I'm going to be putting the foot in this direction. I've now made it official with this first podcast. So yeah, that is my start. This is my starting point. It's good feeling. I'm very, very happy. And I hope that you guys enjoy the content that I have coming up. So, that being said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me for the past few minutes. And I hope you enjoy my content, like I said. I really do appreciate you taking the time to listen. Stay tuned for more. Make sure you're making a difference.